Hello, TAHI Board of Directors. My name is Lloyd Burton, and I wanted to provide you a little bit more detail about the TAHI Community Allotment Gardens idea that came up back in November. Back in November, there was a presentation given to the board about setting up some areas on TAHI RV sites to do some gardening. After that, there were some outstanding actions that were talked about that probably needed to be thought about. And that included the development of garden layout and box designs, some development of simple rules and procedures, and deciding which TAHI sites to use. The proposal I would give is that really the only thing that needs to be done as far as the board goes is decide an allotment area for the RV sites. 16 by 20 allotment areas, you get about 4 on the site with a common area in the back where gardeners can set up composting and areas to mix dirt and whatnot. And that would be plenty of space per gardener, or if a gardener wants more than one allotment, it's still plenty of space. What that could look like when you lay out boxes in it, because in our park, everything's asphalt underneath the grass, is you need to do raised bed gardening. And so you could have a very large box and 2 smaller boxes, and it's plenty of area in a 16 by 20 foot allotment to do quite a bit of gardening. To look at it a little bit more closely, if you go towards the back and look at just one allotment area, you could have something like a 4 foot by 20 foot garden box, along with maybe 2 4 foot by 8 foot garden boxes, and plenty of space to move in between them. Or someone may want to get really creative, do multiples of 4 by 4 boxes or some other design, and that should be allowed. The only thing you really need to worry about is how much area do you want to allocate. A 16 by 20 foot area on an RV site is plenty. I would consider charging a fee. There's going to be water usage, so $15 to $30 a year per allotment is probably plenty. I would say probably $15 per year to start out with. Maybe think about increasing it down the road. And if you want to call it a donation to Can Do, that's fine too. What should the boxes look like? How should they be built? I don't think it's necessary to really set up a standard for that. There's plenty of ideas out there. People can be very creative with wood, but a simple construction would be to use something like castle blocks and 2 by 6s or 2 by 12s. That's probably the simplest. Doesn't require any tools. It's easy to assemble, easy to repair, easy to remove if we ever have to remove them and use that site for something else. Again, not mandatory. It's just a suggestion. Here's an idea, basically showing a layout of an area we're talking about, approximately 16 by 20, where someone has decided to lay out castle blocks and some lumber and design a very aesthetic looking and very usable garden area. So what's the board need to decide? Well, do really need to think about the sites that can be used for allotments if you want to move forward with this. For example, the site on the picture on the very far right is one of the areas that was discussed. It's okay in the back, but in the front it gets quite a bit of shade, so it's not the best area. It's also not the most level. This is, I think, site 11 on Magnolia. 2 sites on the left, they get plenty of sunshine. Other than just deciding which sites to use, there does need to be some simple rules, and there need to be some simple procedures for assigning, renewing, and reassignment of allotments. Sites I would recommend, and I would recommend actually setting all these aside. But number 1, if you want to just set up one site, number 1 Holly, lot 1. It's got the most sunshine, most level, and it's rarely used for RV parking. It's also got a corner lot that can be used for additional growing like flowers and whatnot for pollinators to be attracted to. Over on Magnolia, sites 9, 7, and 5 get the good sunshine. They're level. They do get used some for parking, but for the most part, they're rarely used. The only problem with the Magnolia sites is they're on the for sale list. Again, better pictures of Lot 1 Holly, and also the sites 5, 7, and 9 Magnolia. Along with this presentation, there are some draft documents if you want to move forward with this idea. An allotment chart where it can be, or members are, you fill out a chart on who has what allotment. Rules for garden allotments, some basic rules. Application for the gardener, and a memorandum of understanding for the gardener. Thank you very much for your consideration. Again, if you want to move forward with the TAHI allotment garden idea and you need a volunteer to organize things or help new members decide how to lay things out or grow or draw it out, I'll be happy to help. Thank you again for your time.